Everyone knows a narcissist. Do you want to know how to spot one? Come on, I'll show you. You might even find that you have narcissistic tendencies yourself. Hey guys, welcome to another Archetypes Explained series for Mastermind Content. I'm Richard Odell, and in this video I'm going to explain how to spot narcissistic tendencies that emerge from the Everyman archetype and why. So if you've seen my previous video on the Everyman archetype, part 1, you may remember that the healthy qualities of this archetype are essential for connecting with people and making friends. Now, the Everyman archetype is friendly, charismatic, funny and engaging, but these traits also show up in a narcissist because they have the motivation for being friendly and agreeable, because they have a fear of abandonment and desperately want to be liked. Now, the reason for that may be because they were emotionally or physically abandoned as a child and didn't know where to fit into the family structure or society as a whole. So they learned from an early age that you only receive attention and recognition when you accomplish something. If you were praised for the quality of your performance, for example, rather than your personality and the ability to be kind, enthusiastic, and other traits that children have but are rarely praised for, the Everyman archetype steps in to show people how likable you are. But unless you can integrate the healthy qualities of the Everyman, you will also adopt the narcissistic traits of this archetype. And it's because there's a lack of self-esteem, because underlying the positive image of the Everyman is self-hate. To compensate for perceived weaknesses, you develop a favourable image of yourself, which is based on looks and status. For example, you'll steer towards fashionable clothing or aim for success in careers that are deemed prestigious or that you can earn a lot of money from. Other people will pursue fame, but you'll also do whatever you can within your circle of friends that will get you noticed and give you the love and attention that you crave. Now, whilst none of these things are particularly bad in their own right, it's the narcissistic tendencies show up if you are intensely self-centered. For example, you may position yourself as the top dog within your social groups by dominating conversation, bragging about your achievements to make yourself feel better or look better than everybody else, or you may be a bully. You will also notice that you have very little empathy and can be quite cruel when pulling someone else's leg. You may intend an insult as a joke, but it's actually quite hurtful. Now, you may recognise these traits in yourself, or you may recognise it from among your circle of friends or work colleagues. At the root of narcissistic issues is a fear of failure and humiliation. This can surface in little white lies that protect your fragile self-image, together with over-embellishing your achievements to make yourself sound more admirable and accomplished, and thus more worthy of attention. Making yourself appear better than others is an unconscious strategy the Everyman uses to reinforce a fragile self-esteem and a deep-seated feeling of worthlessness. Now, subsequently, this archetypal energy surfaces as hostility towards anyone who you perceive as a threat to your self-image. So typical traits that will surface are vindictiveness, arrogance, and revenge. You'll see this archetype at play in snide comments or poking fun at somebody that on the surface is intended to be a joke but has a nasty undercurrent that is meant to cause upset. This type of behaviour is a demonstration that the individual has low self-esteem and feelings of inadequacy. Now, when narcissistic tendencies reveal themselves through the Everyman archetype, it's because the individual craves attention and wants to be desired. They become egocentric and shallow and either use sex appeal to woo suitors or their intellect to impress people. Narcissists that lack sex appeal or intelligence will use money if they have it, success or fame if they have it, or prestige to impress others. And if they don't have those things, then they pursue them vehemently and will not stop until they have something that they can use as leverage to prove their value and their worth. Now, how many of these people do we see in the public eye? More importantly, how many of them can we trust? Now, to overcome the narcissistic tendencies associated with the Everyman, you need to move beyond the need to be admired, praised and accepted. Rather than looking for validation from others, be content with your achievements and accept yourself for who you are as a person rather than your status in life. All too often our society looks up to people for what they are rather than who they are. If you focus on developing your career more than your personality, you'll eventually be found out as superficial, weak and inauthentic. And that failure will lead to humiliation, rejection and abandonment, which are the worst fears for the Everyman. Essentially, unless you express the positive qualities of any of these archetypes, the unconscious content becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's just how archetypal energies work. Okay, so I hope that helped you understand something about narcissism related to the Everyman. In the third part of the Everyman series, I'm going to explain how a disintegrated Everyman archetype takes possession of the ego and ruins your life in various ways. You don't want to miss that, so stay tuned in by subscribing to the channel and feel free to drop a like or comment if you enjoyed this content. I'm always grateful for your support, and the more I can grow the channel, the better equipped I am to make better content. I'm Richard Odale and this is Mastermind Content. Thanks for watching. I shall see you soon. Bye bye.